Top U.S. officials sat down with Chinese leaders in Switzerland this weekend, hoping to ease tensions in a trade battle that's been heating up and putting a serious strain on the global economy. U.S. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent and Trade Representative Jamieson Greer met with China's Vice Premier He Lifeng in Geneva. The exact location was kept under wraps, but a line of black SUVs was spotted leaving the home of the Swiss ambassador to the United Nations, suggesting that's where the talks were held. According to a diplomatic source, the meeting lasted around 2 hours before everyone headed to a lunch that had already been scheduled. While no major breakthrough is expected, both sides are hoping to at least roll back some of the sky-high tariffs they've been slapping on each other's goods. That would be a relief for businesses and markets that rely on trade between the United States and China, the world's two largest economies. Right now, tariffs are through the roof. Just last month, President Trump bumped up U.S. tariffs on Chinese imports to 145%. China fired back with its own 125% tariffs on American goods. At that level, it's almost like they're banning each other's products. But on Friday, even before the meeting started, Trump hinted at possibly easing off. He posted on Truth Social that an 80% tariff might be right, and left the final call to Treasury Secretary Bessent. Sun Yun, a China expert at the Stimson Center, pointed out that this is the first time Bessent and he have met face-to-face. She's not expecting much to come from it, but says even a small move to reduce tariffs would be a step in the right direction, as long as it's more than just talk. Since returning to the White House in January, Trump has leaned hard on tariffs as his go-to strategy. He's even hit imports from nearly every country with a 10% tax. But his biggest fight has been with China. Part of the reason? Trump wants to pressure China into stopping the flow of fentanyl into the United States, which is tied to a 20% chunk of the tariffs. The rest, a whopping 125%, is about long-standing complaints from his first term about unfair Chinese trade practices. Back then, the United States accused China of doing shady things to boost its tech industry, like forcing American companies to give up trade secrets, heavily subsidizing Chinese tech firms, and even stealing intellectual property. A temporary deal was struck in early 2020, the Phase 1 agreement, where China promised to buy more U.S. goods in the U.S. agreed not to increase tariffs even further. But then COVID hit, and China didn't follow through on its promises. Now, the fight is back on, and so are the tariffs. Trump's also still annoyed by America's huge trade deficit with China, which hit $263 billion last year. Meanwhile, the U.S. team is also meeting with Switzerland's president, Karen Keller-Sutter. Trump recently paused a plan to hit Swiss goods with a massive 31% tariff, higher than the 20% ones he slapped on the European Union, and dropped them to 10% for now. But he could bring them back up at any time. Switzerland is playing it safe. Its government says it won't retaliate, at least not yet, but it warned that higher tariffs could hurt key Swiss exports like watches, cheese, chocolate, and those popular coffee capsules. Starting Saturday, U.S. products in Switzerland are getting hit with an extra 10% tax, which will rise to 21% by Wednesday.